Jackman, Wolverine, will be deposed. And I suspect that might be making Ryan Reynolds extremely nervous, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me Deadpool's married to a millennial girl in real life without telling me. I have never felt more seen.
I don't like Ryan Reynolds at all.
Hugh Jackman.
Absolute. Yeah.
Right over here, please. Everyone to the right. Straight ahead, please.
When you spend a lot of time with someone, you start to pick up on each other's mannerisms. Oh. Is there something of each other's you're really excited to get rid of?
Wow, good question.
All your muscles.
Yes.
Enough
and all
with
of
the
his
muscle.
children. I'm still looking after them all.
Yeah, I know. And he's a great dad. He's doing really well. Thank you. Thank you for that.
All right, folks, grab your popcorn because this Hollywood drama is getting wild. After years of pretending that Ryan Reynolds' bullying was just some harmless banter, Hugh Jackman has apparently had enough. Word on the street is that Hugh's done covering for Ryan's bad behavior, and he's finally spilling the tea. Turns out Ryan hasn't just been picking on Hugh. Nope, he's been stirring up drama everywhere, from makeup artists to co-stars and even directors. And the worst part? While Ryan's been showing his ugly side behind the scenes, he still managed to keep up his nice guy image in public. So what exactly did Ryan do that was so bad? And why is Hugh suddenly speaking out now? Could this be the moment that finally tanks Reynolds' career? Especially after all the Blake Lively drama? Let's break it down.
Who are you? Oh, I'm Deadpool. And I guess you're Deadpool too. But in here, everybody calls me Nice Pool. Oh my goodness, wait till you see Lady Pool. She is gorgeous. She just had a baby too, and can't even tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's okay. I identify as a feminist. Right.
There's Nice Pool notes, he says this, quote, calling is to one day start a podcast that monetizes the women's movement. Okay. So he's saying he wants to one day start a podcast that monetizes the women's movement. Why would Nice Pool say this? Well, because Justin Baldoni had a podcast that was entitled Be Man Enough. And he was the co-host with a woman that was named Liz Plank. And they spoke about feminist issues. He was kind of like a male feminist, Justin Baldoni, before all this happened.
What I make of that is that if your wife is harassed, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. There's no question it relates to Justin. I mean, anybody that can watch that, the hair bun, if somebody is seriously harassed, you don't make fun of it.
Yeah, no, it is not. It's humiliating, actually.
Yeah, I still have a handful of pubic hair.
Yeah, that was weird. Weird having to hold his hand to take him over there to the bathroom every time. It's like, just go in your room. You're okay. I'm watching. I'll be right here.
You have an ongoing feud with Ryan. Who? You know, that guy. What's it going to take for him to actually be BFFs with you?
Well, I mean, in truth, there was a time in which we were.
Any words for Ryan, seeing as the next time we talk to him, he will be seeing that.
I have nothing to say to him.
First up, Ryan's nasty temper. Apparently, Ryan thinks he can just fire anyone who doesn't jump when he says so. According to a report from Fox News, Reynolds once threatened to destroy a makeup artist's entire career just because they couldn't make it to some reshoots. The insider revealed that Reynolds told the artist they would never work in Hollywood again if they didn't come back immediately. Now, keep in mind, this makeup artist wasn't just skipping work. They were literally out of the country working on another project. But instead of understanding the situation like a professional, Ryan treated it like some kind of personal insult.
G'day, mate. Hugh Jackman here. Just reminding you to get your votes in for People's Sexiest Men Alive.
You're old and slow.
Deadpool's mid.
Come at me, bro.
I'm the hero.
No, you're not.
Yes, I.
Shut up, mutton chops. People think they know you for playing the guy with the little utensils for hands, but boy, you got other talents, my friend.
Are you about to take a lie detector test?
And get this, the studio executives couldn't even do anything about it. They were reportedly frustrated, but by that point, Ryan had already taken full control of the movie, so they had no choice but to go along with it. Talk about a power trip. Honestly, this just screams insecurity, because a confident person doesn't need to bully others to feel important. But here's the kicker. This behavior isn't new for Ryan. Apparently, this controlling attitude has been his thing for years. Hugh Jackman, who had to work closely with Reynolds during the Deadpool and Wolverine films, has supposedly dealt with this firsthand. While Hugh used to play along with their fake feuds for laughs, sources say he's officially over it.
I don't like Ryan Reynolds at all.
Hugh
He's
Jackman.
an absolute. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now things are heating up. Hugh is reportedly set to testify in the ongoing legal drama involving Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, and that has Ryan sweating bullets. An insider shared that Hugh is expected to take the stand if the case goes to trial, saying there's no way he can avoid it. Apparently, Hugh has seen enough of Ryan's antics over the years that he could expose everything if he tells the truth. And now, Reynolds is terrified that Hugh might finally let it all out. It's no surprise that Ryan Reynolds is feeling the pressure now. His controlling behavior isn't just limited to makeup artists. Directors have had to deal with it too. Take Tim Miller, for example. He directed the first Deadpool movie. You know, the one that revived Ryan's career but didn't return for the sequel. Why? Because Ryan apparently wanted full creative control. Tim later explained that Ryan clearly wanted to run the entire franchise and said that while some directors can work under those conditions, he personally couldn't deal with it. Translation: Ryan was such a headache that the original Deadpool director would rather walk away from a hit franchise than deal with Ryan's ego. Now here's where things get even messier. Since Ryan now has full control over Deadpool, he can pretty much do whatever he wants, and most people just go along with it. But fans started noticing something weird about the Nice Pool character, basically a nicer version of Deadpool.
Do you think that's what he did? We have a clip where his character Deadpool, which is very popular in this movie, acts more like the Justin Baldoni that I said turned me off with the I'm against toxic masculinity. And there's a question about whether he was taking a shot at Justin. Here's the clip.
Who are you? Oh, I'm Deadpool. And I guess you're Deadpool too. But in here, everybody calls me Nice Pool. Oh my goodness, wait till you see Lady Pool. She is gorgeous. She just had a baby too, and can't even tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's okay. I identify as a feminist. Right.
What I make of that is that if your wife is harassed, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. There's no question it relates to Justin. I mean, anybody that can watch that, the hair bun. If somebody is seriously harassed, you don't make fun of it. It's a serious issue.
Was this a coincidence? Maybe, but here's where Hugh Jackman comes in. As Wolverine, Hugh had to watch as Ryan used their movie to take jabs at Justin Baldoni. If the Nice Pool character was a dig at Baldoni, you can bet everyone on set was aware of it. This left Hugh in a tough spot. He ended up being dragged into what felt like a bullying stunt disguised as comedy. And sources say Hugh was incredibly uncomfortable about it.
She said that there was no intimacy coordinator, and then he said back that she declined the intimacy coordinator, okay? Also, in one of the Deadpool outtakes, there's Nice Pool notes, he says this, quote, calling is to one day start a podcast that monetizes the women's movement. Okay, so he's saying he wants to one day start a podcast that monetizes the women's movement. Why would Nice Pool say this? Well, because Justin Baldoni had a podcast that was entitled "Be Man Enough," and he was the co-host with a woman that was named Liz Plank, and they spoke about feminist issues. He was kind of like a male feminist, Justin Baldoni, before all this happened. But then Liz Plank quit the podcast after Blake Lively made her allegations.
The worst part. Hugh didn't even have an issue with Baldoni, but with Ryan calling the shots, Hugh had no choice but to go along with it or risk being pushed out of the movie altogether. And if you think Ryan's behavior stops behind the camera, think again. His co-stars have apparently been dealing with the same toxic treatment for years. Take Marina Baccarin, for example. She played the female lead in the first Deadpool movie, yet barely appeared in the sequel. According to insiders, this wasn't by accident. Apparently, Ryan thought she was overbearing, so he had to make sure she was practically erased from the promotional materials. Ouch.
What's up with Deadpool 3? Fans want to know.
What is up with Deadpool 3? That's a really good question. I have to be very diplomatic about what I say here. I'd like to be in it. They have called me about being in it. Right now, we have not agreed on terms. And everybody's trying their best and doing their best, but it may It may or may not work out.
But you're an integral part of that.
I'd like to think so. I do think that this movie, I do feel like they're trying to reinvent it a little bit. I think this movie is going to be much more about Wolverine and Deadpool.
This sounds like pure revenge, and honestly, it shows exactly how Ryan Reynolds treats people who don't go along with him. Now, you might think this sounds petty, but it's actually a big deal for actors who rely on publicity to keep their careers alive.
When you spend a lot of time with someone, you start to pick up on each other's mannerisms. Is there something of each other's you're really excited to get rid of?
Wow, good question.
All your muscles.
Yes.
Enough
And all
with
of
the
his
muscle.
children. I'm still looking after them all.
Yeah, I know. And he's a great dad. He's doing really well. Thank you. Thank you for that.
And guess what? Marina wasn't the only one who dealt with Ryan's behavior. TJ Miller, who played Weasel in Deadpool, also experienced it. But unlike Marina, TJ actually spoke out about it. According to him, Ryan's attitude completely changed after the first Deadpool blew up and made him super famous. TJ said Ryan became mean, and not in a playful way. He admitted that, if given the chance, he wouldn't work with Ryan again. Miller also recalled a moment on set where Ryan openly belittled him in front of everyone. Ryan apparently told him that the only good thing about Weasel's character was that he wasn't the star, but did just enough to be funny before the movie could get back to the real story. That's straight up bullying. TJ even mentioned another awkward moment where Ryan asked for one more take. And when they started filming again, Ryan, still in character, started being extremely mean to him, way beyond what was scripted. Honestly, it sounds like Ryan uses his fame and influence to put people down just to feel superior. And for what? To stroke his ego? To feel powerful? Either way, it's toxic. Now, Hugh Jackman probably saw all this behavior unfold firsthand. While Hugh hasn't spoken out publicly, sources say he's grown more and more uncomfortable with the way Ryan treats their peers. The fact that Hugh is still well-liked in the industry while Ryan keeps losing friends really says a lot.
When it comes to a grown man crying, me going to the bathroom for the first time in that suit,
Yes.
that really, it's not easy.
Yeah, no, it is
That
not. It's
hurts.
humiliating, actually.
Yeah,
It's,
I still have a handful of pubic hair.
Yeah, that was weird. Weird having to hold his hand to take him over there to the bathroom every time. It's like, you just go in the room. You're okay. I'm watching. I'll be right here. I'll be right outside. I'll knock if you knock if you need me. Yeah.
Speaking of ex-friends, let's talk about Jake Gyllenhaal. These two used to be super close, doing interviews together and acting like total besties. But something clearly went down because now Jake won't even acknowledge Ryan anymore. Whatever happened must have been serious because their friendship went from inseparable to non-existent real quick. When Jake was asked about Ryan in a recent interview, his response was cold. When the interviewer pushed for more details about their friendship, Jake completely shut down the conversation. That's not normal behavior between friends or even ex-friends.
You have an ongoing feud with Ryan. You know that guy. What's it going to take for him to actually be BFFs with you?
Well, I mean, in truth, there was a time in which we were.
Any words for Ryan, seeing as the next time we talk to him, he will be seeing that.
I have nothing to say to him.
People believe this tension goes back to when they worked together on the 2017 movie Life. After filming Wrap, their friendship just fizzled out. A lot of fans think Jake might have seen Ryan's true personality on set and decided to cut ties. And Jake's not the only one. Rebecca Ferguson, who was also in Life, talked about working with a difficult co-star, someone who was insecure and angry on set. While she didn't say any names, the clues pretty much point to Ryan.
When do you think you've been proudest of using your own voice?
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable that I got screamed at. And I would cry walking off set. This person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, "You call yourself an actor, this is what I have to work with. What is this?" And I stood there just breaking. This happens. But because this person was number one on a call sheet, there was no safety net for me. So no one had my back. And I remember the next day I walked on and I said, "You get off my set." This is the first time I've ever spoken. I remember being so scared. And I looked at this person and I said, "You can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again."
Rebecca recalled that her co-star struggled to deliver their scenes and took their frustrations out on her. She remembered how this person would openly mock her in front of the entire crew, questioning her acting skills and making her cry. Things got so bad that Rebecca refused to act alongside them anymore. Eventually, she stood up for herself, telling this person to get off her set, and that she'd rather act opposite a tennis ball than deal with them again. Although she never said who this person was, the timeline and cast details make it pretty clear she was talking about Ryan. And Hugh Jackman, he's probably seen this toxic behavior up close as well. Remember that awkward promo skit for It Ends With Us? Yeah, the one that had nothing to do with the actual movie?
Okay.
Oh, God.
This is cool. It's not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film. It's kind of crazy.
I don't remember seeing this on the schedule.
Dive in, shall we? So I saw you posing in a photo with Mrs. Reynolds, and I'm sorry, what do you call her? Do you guys have a nickname or something? Okay, no, just so it's Mrs. Okay. Anyway, I saw this photo. It was pretty suggestive. So here, I got it right here. I'm gonna get right to it. How do you explain that? Is it genetics? You have some sort of like low angle squat routine to pop that region in that way? I mean, what's going on here, man? Are you smuggling pumpkins? Got a couple of small pumpkins there? Jesus Christ, my heart is beating like crazy right now.
Hugh got dragged into that drama too. He was forced to join in on what seemed like Ryan's personal grudge against Justin Baldoni. In the clip, Hugh delivered lines that were clearly aimed at mocking Baldoni. He jokingly called Baldoni the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband, and claimed Australians had to take someone's life with their bare hands just to get into preschool. It was an uncomfortable scene that made Hugh look like he was part of Ryan's mean-spirited jokes, even though he had no personal issues with Baldoni himself. Hugh Jackman ended up being dragged into Ryan Reynolds' drama with Justin Baldoni, and it wasn't pretty. Hugh was basically used as a in Ryan's personal grudge, while a serious movie about domestic issues ended up being overshadowed by childish Hollywood drama.
Happy birthday, sir.
Hey, thanks, man.
Have a good day.
To make things worse, Hugh was pressured into showing up at the It Ends With Us premiere, a movie he had absolutely nothing to do with, just to support Ryan and Blake Lively. Meanwhile, Baldoni was reportedly kept away from the Reynolds Lively crew and forced to arrive early to avoid any awkward run-ins. Without meaning to, Hugh was made part of this power play, and sources say he deeply regrets getting involved. But here's where things really blew up. Hugh recently found out that he might be called to testify in the legal drama involving Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. This puts him in a terrible spot. If he tells the truth, he risks ending his friendship with Ryan. But if he lies, he'd be committing perjury. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation, and sources say Hugh is furious that Ryan's mess has dragged him into this.
We're Canadian, we're proudly Canadian, which basically means we have a direct line to Ryan Reynolds.
Got it.
Do you have a message for your boy Ryan?
I'm glad I'm in your country because everyone knows you're not welcome in mine.
Wait,
Does that mean? Does that mean?
Now here's the thing. The charming, funny Ryan Reynolds we see in interviews, apparently that's just an act. Behind the scenes, people say he's controlling, insecure, and even manipulative. Even his ex-wife, Scarlett Johansson, has hinted at this. Although Scarlett has always kept things classy when talking about their breakup, she once described Ryan as passive-aggressively jealous.
Forgot that you were married to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Goals.
Yes. We were married. We weren't married very long, but we were married when I met you. When I first met you for
That's
Ironman
right.
or whatever. Yeah, I was married.
We love a good Ryan Reynolds in our house.
He's a good guy.
And guess what? Alanis Morissette, another one of Ryan's exes, seemed to back this up too. After their split, Alanis released an album full of lyrics that seemed to describe Ryan's insecure and toxic behavior. In one song, she expressed feeling broken, devastated, and unbelievably insecure, clearly painting a picture of someone struggling with major emotional baggage.
I don't know if you want to take credit for being the person I wrote You Ought to Know.
Right. Actually, he was on this show, and I feel like he kind of took credit for it on this show. Like, I
There's
feel like...
something about people that have taken credit for
Really?
it. And I just think, you know, if you're going to take credit for a song where I'm singing about someone being a douche or an asshole.
See the pattern? People who knew Ryan personally keeps describing him as insecure, and that insecurity seems to show up as controlling behavior and bullying. When Ryan was married to Scarlett, her career was skyrocketing, and that's reportedly when their marriage started falling apart. Not long after, Ryan moved on to Blake Lively, who, at the time, was still trying to break into serious film roles after Gossip Girl. Since Blake's career wasn't as big yet, she wasn't seen as a threat to Ryan's ego, and that's probably why he felt comfortable in that relationship. Ryan Reynolds' controlling behavior doesn't just affect his personal life, it's showing up in his professional life too. And now, with Hugh Jackman possibly being called to testify about Ryan's actions, Hollywood is on edge. This couldn't have come at a worse time for Ryan. His wife, Blake Lively, is already dealing with her own PR disaster involving the Baldoni lawsuit. Interestingly, both Ryan and Blake are facing accusations of being controlling, manipulative, and difficult to work with, yet somehow still keep up their flawless public image. An insider even described the situation as them trying to put the genie back in the bottle, but according to the source, the genie has no interest in going back. In other words, their perfect Hollywood image is falling apart and fast. Meanwhile, Hugh Jackman seems to be moving on with his life after his split from his wife of 27 years. He's now dating his Broadway co-star, Sutton Foster, although some are skeptical about whether the relationship is real or just a PR stunt. What's clear is that Hugh has had enough of Ryan's drama. The bromance that once seemed fun and entertaining now looks more like a toxic, one-sided mess. Hugh appears to be distancing himself from Ryan, finally seeing him for who he really is. It seems like Ryan's pattern of bullying co-workers and controlling film sets might finally be catching up with him. With Hugh possibly testifying and other co-stars speaking out, Ryan's nice guy image is quickly falling apart. Funny enough, Hugh once talked about their wild dynamic in a 2020 interview. He admitted their feud had gone on so long that he didn't even remember how or why it started. When the two reunited on the set of Deadpool and Wolverine, Hugh recalled a funny moment where Ryan playfully greeted him by calling him Steve. Hugh joked that Ryan later tried to recover by guessing Greg instead. It's clear their banter has always been entertaining, but what seemed playful back then now seems like a cover for something much messier behind the scenes. It turns out Scarlett Johansson might have played a role in kicking off the long-running feud between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, even if she didn't mean to. Hugh once revealed that Scarlett may have started it all, though he admitted he couldn't quite remember exactly how things began. He recalled that when Ryan first married Scarlett, he couldn't resist teasing him on set. Since Hugh was close friends with Scarlett at the time, he joked with Ryan, telling him to be on his best behavior because he was keeping an eye on him. From there, the jokes kept escalating, especially when Ryan started pushing Hugh to join him in a Deadpool and Wolverine crossover.
You're old and slow. Deadpool's mid. Come at me, bro. I'm the hero. No, you're not. Yes, sir. Shut up, mutton chops.
People think they know you for playing the guy with the little utensils for hands, but boy, you got other talents, my friend.
Are you about to take a lie detector test?
No.
Brian is 47. Sorry, internet. Sorry.
You're not a generous sitter.
Are you comfortable with it, though? There is a tremendous amount of Wolverine manspreading here.
When the first X-Men came out, I was 9 years old.
Hugh, what was the Big Bang like?
We went to birthday parties and we had no skills. Literally no skills.
So they robbed people, and that's how they did it. They robbed everyone.
Pretty much.
What are you?
I'm a f***ing idiot. I'm a f***ing idiot!
Yes, I like how this is going.
I'm glad I'm in your country because everyone knows you're not welcome in mine. I don't understand the game. Never have I never.
Never?
I'm already confused.
So
Those
disappointed
first
right
five.
now, this movie is about flying high.
Yeah.
Tell me the last time you experimented with drugs.
Ryan Reynolds is a complete and total
The feud started gaining public attention in 2015 when Hugh posted a hilarious video of Ryan impersonating him, complete with an Australian accent, while in full Deadpool makeup. Most of the teasing centered around Ryan's goal of getting Hugh to star in a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. The two first met while filming X-Men Origins, Wolverine, back in 2009, and since then their playful trolling on social media has kept fans entertained.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
G'day, mate. Hugh Jackman here. Just reminding you to get your votes in for people's sexiest men alive.
In January 2017, Ryan openly shared his hopes of bringing Deadpool and Wolverine together in a movie. Unfortunately for him, Hugh announced just a couple of months later that he was officially retiring from the Wolverine role with the release of Logan. But that didn't stop Ryan from holding on to the dream. He even admitted that if there was any chance of convincing Hugh to return as Wolverine, he'd gladly use their friendship to pressure him into it. And now, years later, Ryan's persistence has finally paid off. Their long-awaited Deadpool and Wolverine movie has happened.
If I didn't have Hugh Jackman and he didn't have me, who would we hate?
Wow! God, Mr. Lively couldn't be here to accept this broken Emmy, so he sent me on his behalf.
Ryan Reynolds has always been determined to get Hugh Jackman on board for a Deadpool and Wolverine crossover. He once told Entertainment Weekly that convincing Hugh was the real challenge. He even joked that he'd have to gather support from his internet friends to help rally behind the idea. On the other hand, Hugh seemed unsure. In an interview with Variety, he admitted that while he could see how the crossover idea made sense, the timing just didn't feel right. Over the years, their back-and-forth antics have become part of their signature friendship, including pranks during holidays, birthdays, and even live performances. In April 2018, Hugh tried to record a heartfelt birthday message for a fan on Twitter, but Ryan had other ideas. While Hugh began filming, Ryan dressed head to toe in his Deadpool costume, dramatically saying "Tomorrow" from Annie in the background. Hugh, clearly annoyed yet amused, told his followers not to give Ryan too much attention. Even when promoting their own projects, the teasing doesn't stop. When Hugh announced a series of concerts titled From New York with Love, Ryan couldn't resist joining in. Hugh revealed his upcoming shows while sitting on the same couch Ryan had used to announce Hugh's return as Wolverine. During the video, Ryan asked if he could be part of Hugh's concert. Hugh jokingly said absolutely, but then silently shook his head at the camera, making it clear Ryan wasn't really invited. Hugh continued explaining his concert details as Ryan kept chiming in with helpful suggestions. When Ryan finally asked, "So I'm not going to be in it?" Hugh replied, "On stage? No. But in my heart, yeah." He added that he wanted Ryan in the audience, but preferably sitting far away. Hugh even joked that it would be the most amazing tech rehearsal Ryan had ever seen. Ryan, pretending to be let down, sarcastically claimed he'd won the friendship lottery.
My head is the same size.
There's hair in places it shouldn't be.
There's a smattering of hair.
This is so healing.
But I'm also
It's so-
inexplicably in a hot
Scrubs!
Oh my god, I cheated Wordle. I don't know why I just said that. I cheated. I mean,
right? This is f***ing wild.
It's good. Okay. Remember how it grows.
There we go. It's turning it. The shake has turned into a little bit of a celebratory dance.
But what do you think about all this? Are you Team Hugh or Team Ryan? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for all the latest Hollywood drama. That's all for now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.